Meeting called to order. Please stand for the salute to the flag. Freeholder Seabold, will you please lead us in the salute? Remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Clark, absent. Freeholder Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Present.
Freeholder Luciano.
Here.
Freeholder Owens. Freeholder Vice President Sebo. Here. Freeholder President Watson.
Present. Madam Clerk, I have before me certification from the clerk that this meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, for the record, Freeholder Carol Clark is present. Madam Clerk, are there any topics of discussion?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's go to the public comment session. There are no agenda items for action tonight, and resolutions number 8 has been withdrawn by the administration. So if there's any member of the public who would like to speak on any issue, except for the resolution number 8, please come to the microphone and state your name and affiliation for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Cassandra Dock, P.O. Box 25331, Newark. Freeholder Rufus, I know that you were made aware of the issue at Westside Park. I'm told we're working on that. I was at the State of the County address when County Executive Joe DiVincenzo talked about some things that he's going to do at Weekway Park, and the fact that some of the nonprofits in the area will be able to do a proposal, to do some things in the park. And I want to have that conversation with him, or you can have that conversation with him about doing the same things at Westside Park. Maybe what we should talk about, rather than patching up that clubhouse, maybe perhaps we need to knock it down and just renovate it, or do it something all new there. And maybe we can have that conversation, or again, like I said, you can have that conversation with the county executive about doing that, because I'm not sure if all of you are aware that South 17th Street Elementary School uses that clubhouse for their gym. They have to walk, because they don't have a gym within their school, so they walk across the street to the gym. And that clubhouse has not been working now for probably about 2 months, because I know when I was over there back in December, the gutters, the water was just coming all off the roof. You couldn't even stand there and have a conversation in the front entrance of the clubhouse, because the gutters was just crazy. So I guess for us not going over there and taking care of the gutters in a timely manner, that probably caused the whole roof just to probably cave in at some point. So we really need to go over there, take a look at that facility, and see because we're beautifying all the rest of these parks. And one thing he's good at, might not be good at nothing else, but he's good at redoing a park. So we can have that conversation with him. Same things you're doing up at the other parks, we want you to do the same thing at Westside Park. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.
Good night. Have a good evening. Do we have anyone else from the public who would like to speak at this time?
Good evening, Donna Jackson, 128 Smith Street. How's everyone? Just fresh in from the New Jersey State Board meeting. Glad to see that we are rallying around the state in regards to this privatization of education. As a freeholder board, I know you are limited in terms of what you do on local government, but I think we need to put on our just resident hat, being state residents, and move forward. They have a new superintendent in the town of Montclair who is in the midst of tearing that town up. They are talking about school closures, charter schools, removing folk with tenure in Montclair. So what I'm going to say today is that we need to let this epidemic stop. Essex County needs to step out front. We see what the governor is doing in New York. We need to take a page. This privatization for profit needs to stop when it's being done off the backs of our children and off the backs of our employees. The county has already seen an influx of an additional 50 to 70,000 people going into citizen services. If we allow this privatization of education to continue, you're going to see another 5 to 10,000 people going into those same coffers. I don't think we have the budget. I don't think the state's going to give us the money to maintain the people that will now be coming for resources that we are scarcely giving now. Secondly, in Newark, in a 2-hour period on Monday, we had 8 shootings that resulted in 3 homicides. We don't even have a crime scene unit that can respond. The extra pressure that's being put on the county, you guys need to get involved. The county is always having to come out. The county always has to back us up. Newark is short-manned, and that is putting additional pressure on the county. So as the county elected officials, I need you to help me tell Krispy Kreme, AKA governor, that he needs to send some money in here, not only to the county level, but in particular to the city level of Newark. What we are seeing now with being up to 700 officers short is nothing short of bedlam. We had 4 crime scenes going on at one time Monday. We had crime scenes where there were 1 officer there. That is not acceptable to you. It should not be, because we are definitely pulling on the resources. County officers were responding. I was glad to see that, but then that means we're pulling them from someplace else that they would have been patrolling. This thing is rolling out of proportion, and we really need to get a handle on it, because if we murdering in 5-degree weather, what you think is going to happen when we get to the 50s, 60s, and 70s? Unfortunately, heat causes us to not want to be close to each other, and it causes all kind of extra different situations to go on that's going to really escalate this thing. And finally, I would just like to say we still need to really look into separating our county services. You have too many people going into 2 facilities, even if I'm just talking about the lower end of Essex County. The privacy is an issue. I do not want to sit at the table with my caseworker while they're interviewing me, they're interviewing Doug, they're interviewing Mr. Wadu, all at the same time. Don't use their name, I'm sorry, I won't. This young man and that young man.
Let you know you have 30 seconds.
Oh, okay, I thought you, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't want to be personal names. But we don't need to be sitting at the table sharing social security information, birth date information, what my last food stamp payment was, telling me why Doug was sanctioned. I don't need to hear that. So we do need to talk about separation of services, making it more community oriented, and letting our officers be a little more friendly and inviting to people who come in for services, even if it's just food stamps. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you for your comments. And as usual, do we have anyone else from the public who would like to speak? Do we have anyone else from the public? Anyone else from the public who would like to speak? They're coming? Okay.
How you doing?
Good evening. Please state your name and affiliation for the record.
I'm Jonathan Harris from Grassroots Emergency Overnight Warming Station. And recently I just came into working with a bunch of individuals. We all volunteers from different organizations, community organizers. And it was just so disheartening that the county and the cities, that the counties and the cities did not have a code blue plan in place for taking our residents that didn't have an address and putting them into temporary shelter or some kind of housing placement. And I've been working with this since January. We've been at different sites, different organizations. We've been at 3 different churches. We have been inside of 2 different organizations. We house about 25 to 35 different individuals. Some of the services that they need is just basic, like needing help with ID. There's no government or any type of funding or any kind of agency that would actually help them cut or waive the ID costs. And it's just one simple thing that can keep them from getting housing. A state ID, county ID is not really worth much, in terms of getting employment and securing other things, but it's something that we have to do on the county level. I'm looking at different examples of Union County do they code blue, but we don't have a plan in Essex County. That's the issue. We don't have a plan in Newark. We don't have a plan in Essex County. This is a big issue, and to take these people off the streets. And if we could house more, or if this money that the county has to house more individuals, like this. There should be some building or something designated in between East Orange and Newark, all the property that Essex County owns, to house about, at least 100 individuals between Newark, Irvington, and Bloomfield, and what's another city? Montclair. That's part of Essex County that we need, to get them up. They sleep at Penn Station. We're not giving them social services. We have all these different agencies connected to city government and county government that they're not getting out here doing the resources. We need social workers out here. We need grief counselors, and just basic things that we can do. I'm doing it myself out of my own time and volunteering, but there's things that we can do right now as county officials, as municipal government officials, that we need to step up and do as well. All right?
Okay. And thank you for your comments.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Is that good? Sure. Hi, my name is Karen Cook. I'm also involved with the Grassroots Warming Station. I'm from Union County, but I'm here tonight because I volunteer my time to the city of Newark. I'm a former Newark resident. I grew up here. I was raised in Vailsburg, and I love the city that I came from, so I give back to that community. My concern is for what we call, instead of homeless, the people with our neighbors without addresses. That's more respectful than calling them homeless. They need the services that should be provided by this county. The city of Newark had nothing for the residents during the extreme cold weather that we had. Our grassroots organization has been opening weeks on end, 3 days a week, sometimes 2 days a week, purely volunteer. I myself cannot be there for the overnight hours of our volunteers, but I've been cooking for them. We provide hot meals, desserts. I've been doing clothing collections. This is something, though, that as an individual, I don't mind doing. I feel it's my responsibility as someone in the community that can afford to do it. I'm fortunate if I don't have a lot of money, but I have a lot of my time that I can give. But as freeholders, as officials for the communities, you need to provide these services. Union County has the Code Blue service, where they alert the officials when weather is going to be below a certain temperature, and they do what they have to do to get the people without addresses into somewhere where they can be warm and comfortable and feel safe to sleep for the night. The times I were there to serve the meals that I prepared, the people were so wonderful. They were so thankful that they had somewhere they knew they could lay their head down at night and not worry about, was their few possessions going to be stolen? Were they going to be molested? Were they going to be harmed? They were comfortable, they were warm, they were fed. This county needs to do the same thing, and it shouldn't just be the volunteers. It's got to come from the officials for this county, for the cities, within your county. It's got to get done. We have to be responsible for the people that cannot do it for themselves. Thank you.
And again, thank you for your comments. Do we have anyone else who would like to speak?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brett Morris, and I'm a 28-year-old current resident of Newark, New Jersey. I also represent the Grassroots.
Would you like to leave your address, because we normally respond to the residents in writing?
128 South 8th Street, that's in Newark, New Jersey.
Thank you.
As of now, I represent the Grassroots Emergency Overnight Warming Station. And it is an apolitical, informal group of volunteer residents who care about our neighbors with no address. The unofficial organization, with nearly 700 volunteers and supporters, was organically grown after the question was posed on January 7, 2014, where do the homeless go in case of a state of emergency or extreme life and limb-threatening weather condition overnight? As soon as we learned that there were absolutely no provisions by the city of Newark, the county of Essex, nor the state of New Jersey, we sprung into action and opened our first of many overnight warming stations on January 15, 2014. We have opened in multiple churches, a nonprofit organization building, anywhere that would open the doors to us for this purpose. We are currently operating a campaign headquarters that has committed to making that space available for as long as the extreme weather continues. In the interim, we have reached out to every elected and appointed body known to us by mail, email, text, and phone calls. In most cases, there has been absolutely no response. A few people did call to say that they would look into it, quote unquote, but that was the extent and end of their response. On January 23rd, we rejoiced in the announcement that the JFK Recreational Center will be open around the clock. Our work was done. On January 25th, after our neighbors with no address pressed their way to JFK only to find the doors locked, it was acknowledged that it could not open due to broken pipes and plumbing issues. That was it. No plan B and no contingency or backup plan. Absolutely nothing. Shortly after the JFK situation, we began to make referrals on a daily basis. The Goodwill Mission, UCC Shelter, Newark Legal Services, UMD Rutgers University Hospital, and even welfare offices are but a few of the agencies looking to place clients with us. This unofficial, all-volunteer, non-funded team has somehow become the go-to agency for the homeless population in Newark. We have finally accepted the fact that our officials and representatives either cannot or will not service this population.
Excuse
So
me.
we must.
You have 30 seconds to sum up, but at the end of our meeting, you can come back. We'll reopen the public hearing if you would like to continue your comments.
Our ask is simple and twofold, just to immediately adopt the Code Blue policy that's in effect in Union County, and to help us make decisions and to further explore how we together can improve the quality of life for our constituents with no address.
And again, thank you for the information that you brought before this freeholder board. And again, we will respond to you in writing as we do all residents that come before this board. Do we have anyone else from the public who would like to speak? No? Very good. Thank you. That ends our public hearing at this time, Madam Clerk. Are there any ordinances on second reading?
There are no ordinance on second reading.
Madam Clerk, are there any ordinances on first reading?
There's one ordinance on first reading.
Okay, do you want to read that for me?
Yes, salary ordinance, clerk of the board of chosen freeholders.
Okay, Michael, do you
Yes.
want to explain that?
Absolutely. The board is empowered to set salary ranges for county employees and directors and county executive, and obviously the Board of Freeholders. This ordinance would set the salary range for the clerk of the Board of Freeholders. It was set a number of years ago, but it was found that that salary range was not commensurate with directors of county directors who have similar job responsibilities. This salary range, although it doesn't range as high as some of the directors, is more in line with what this board has previously done with some of those directors. And so this would now set a salary range between $69,000 and $110,000 for the position of clerk. What it would allow the board to do administratively, once, if this is adopted, the board could administratively then set a salary for that position within this range.
Very good. Thank you. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? No comments, no questions, freeholder? Freeholder Vice President Seabold? Oh, I thought you was adjusting your mic for questions. Okay, no further questions. Freeholder, Madam Clerk, will you please list it, and let's move to Resolution 1. And, Mr. Taylor is not here.
No.
So we'll have,
Alan Abramowitz.
Alan, I'm sorry. Please explain the resolution and introduce Mr. Willis.
Yes, Alan Abramowitz, Deputy County Administrator. First, Ralph asked me to express his disappointment. He couldn't be here this evening, but he's ill, so I am flying solo. Item number 1 is advice and consent. It's a nomination of Norman A. Willis for reappointment as Certified Chief Financial Officer for a 3-year term. Mr. Willis was previously appointed for 2011 to 2013. This will be a new term for 2014 to 2016. The salary range for this position is $65,000 to $130,000. Mr. Willis is a 32-year-plus employee of the County of Essex, and it is a state requirement that we have a certified chief financial officer, and that would come before this board for advice and consent. And Mr. Willis is here to answer any questions you have.
Okay, we have Mr. Willis to come up so that, to make his statement, please. And Mr. Abramowitz?
Good afternoon.
Good
My name is
afternoon.
Norman A. Willis, Essex County Chief Financial Officer. I've been in this position for 3 years, and of the 32 years that I have worked for the County of Essex, these 3 years have went by very quick. But it seemed like only yesterday I was here for my appointment. I think 3 years though that I have served with the team that Essex County exec has established. We have made some positive gains. The bond rating is up, surplus is up, audit comments are down, audit adjustments are down. And, just that, as I say, I've been in public service for practically 39 years, and the last 3 years have been, very rewarding. And if reappointed, I will continue to serve the residents of Essex County to the best of my ability. And I'm open for any questions.
Very good, thank you. Freeholders, do we have any questions for Mr. Willis? Freeholder Vice President Seabold?
I have a statement, not a question. I see that you have an extensive background in finance, and I'm very pleased that you're willing to continue in this position, which you do so well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Additional comments, freeholders?
Freeholder Clark.
Freeholder Clark?
Just to say thank you for your service, Norm.
Thank
And look forward to continuing to work with you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay, additional comments, questions, freeholders? Okay, Mr. Willis, let me personally thank you for being here this evening and for your outstanding work on behalf of the county. We will vote on your nomination at our next meeting, and I'm sure we will not have any additional questions for you next week, but thanks again, and have a good evening, and good luck.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, please list the resolution, and then let's move to Resolution 2 and 3, which are new appointments to the Workforce Board Investment. Mr. Abramowitz, please explain the resolutions and introduce the nominees.
Yes, Madam President. Resolution 2 is advise and consent the nomination of Nancy T. Fisher for appointment to the Essex County Workforce Investment Board. She's replacing Leonard Schneider. She represents Jewish Vocational Schools. The term is through 8/31/2016. Resolution number 3, advise and consent nomination of Willie C. Tolbert, Jr. for appointment to Essex County Workforce Investment Board. It's filling a vacant spot representing Willie Tolbert and Associates, and the term is through 8/31/2016. And they are both here for your questions.
Okay. You want to have them to come up, please?
Ms. Fisher? Mr. Tolbert?
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening. Do you want to tell us a little about yourself? We have your resume, but maybe you want to add something else, and put your name on the record for us, please.
I'm Nancy Fisher. I am currently interim co-executive director of Jewish Vocational Service. It's service, not school. And I focus on education and training. I've been on the WIB as literacy chair for the past many years, focusing again on literacy needs in Essex County. At JVS, we work with all populations. We're a non-sectarian, not-for-profit organization, and we work with people with barriers to employment, and our major goal is to help people become employed and become economically self-sufficient.
Very good. Freeholders, questions, comments? Freeholder Seabold, Vice President Seabold.
Thank you very much. I've known Nancy Fisher for so many years. Years before I became a freeholder, her 2 children were students of mine at West Orange High School.
right.
So I've known her forever, and she does a wonderful, wonderful job at Jewish Vocational Services. And I'm pleased to see you here tonight, and I'm pleased to vote for you and have you be part of this procedure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Additional comments, freeholders? Freeholder Clark.
How are you? The work that your bio, your resume indicates that you have extensive experience in literacy, and of course we all know that that unlocks the key to a lot of things.
I believe it does.
If folks can't read and communicate effectively, then they're not going to be able to do a whole lot of things. So thank you for your willingness to serve. Just one question, since you've been a part of the WIB for a while now?
Yes, as literacy chair.
Okay. How are we doing in terms of the job creation, in your opinion, and the balance that we need to have between industry, business, and social services programming? Are we where we need to be? Are there some things that we could probably, bolster to help us along? That's in your professional opinion.
I don't think we're where we need to be yet.
Okay.
I think we need to make direct connections with business and industry, and we need to train to the needs that they identify and not to the needs that we identify. And I think that we really need to start revamping some of our education programs so that we're not looking so much at grade level but at competencies, and see how people can better fit in to identify jobs.
Well, thank you very much. At the Work First is my committee, so I'm really looking forward to maybe touching base with you and picking your brain a little bit more.
Be delighted.
It's only going to make us stronger to have you there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Additional questions or comments, freeholders, from Ms. Fisher? Again, thank you. And we have Mr. Talbot to come up.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr.
My name is Willie Tolbert of Willie Tolbert and Associates, and I'm honored to have this opportunity to come before this august board. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, I guess, outside of my resume, I'm a product of the City of Newark and County of Essex for a number of years, and I look forward to participating in some of the initiatives and efforts, and perhaps even sharing some ideas that maybe enhance the great work that you're currently doing. I'm a certified mentor with the State of New Jersey Department of Corrections, wherein I serve as a mentor for those males that are being released out of prison to help provide some direction for them. I'm also heavily engaged in the community, where we do a lot of outreach through a nonprofit organization as well.
Very good. Thank you. Freeholders, questions? Freeholder Johnson, I'll come back to you, Freeholder Vice President.
Brother Talbert,
Yes.
it is indeed to see you here to take this position here with the county, because you have definitely in your years of being here showed some very, very exclusive direction to a lot of young men and women in the community, and some of them that I know of that have been through some of your tutelage. And it is great to have you here, and it's my pleasure to see you here applying for this position. We need people like yourself in these positions to help our citizens grow, because like you said, you're from Newark, I'm from Newark. We know the ills that's there in our urban cities like the Newark, East Orange, Irvington, and Oranges. And I'm glad you're putting your foot to the fire to help us with the situation at hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholder Vice President Supos.
Thank you very much. Your resume really shows that you have so many extensive degrees,
Yes.
and you have such a wonderful background. And I think it's a real, it's really good for the county that you are willing to serve on this board. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for giving your time.
Thank you.
Additional questions or comments? Freeholder Clark.
Again, thank you, Mr. Tobin, for your willingness to serve. It's only going to make the board stronger to have you there. Looking at your business acumen, it'd be nice to see businesses such as yours actually doing business with the county. That would be good. And just as I asked the young lady before you, do you see the nexus being, at least being formulated so that people can maybe get jobs? I know it's going to take a little bit for them to get jobs in the industry or in the area that you happen to be gainfully employed in, but are there some folks that can actually possibly get there with a little bit of training or some tweaking?
Most definitely. What I'm blessed to share as a response is that I have this philosophy that what I've learned in Egypt, I bring it to the kingdom, meaning what may have been excluded some, I've learned how to, through financial literacy, through showing them entrepreneur. I'm also a alumni of the state of New Jersey's ETI program, which is their entrepreneur training, and it's always been a passion of mine to address that particular concern.
Thank you, sir.
Very good, thank you. Freeholder Owens.
Mr. Talbot, someone I've been seeing around town for many, many years, and he's always held himself in, like he is absolutely now, spotless in his character and his work and whatever he's doing. So I'm very happy to see you, Willie, continue to do what you're doing, and the county is glad to have you, at least I am, doing what you're doing for our county. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank you both for being here tonight and for your willingness to volunteer your service. And it's hard to find volunteers today. And from your resumes and experiences, I am sure you both make many contributions to the work of the Workforce Investment Board. And I think Freeholder Clark said that she will be meeting with you guys very soon with her meeting. She usually schedules her committee meetings. So we will vote on your nominations next week. And again, thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please list both resolutions. And now let's move to resolution number 4. I keep saying Mr. Scheller, Mr. Abranowitz.
Yes, Madam President. Resolution 4, Essex County Office of the Register of Deeds and Mortgages, contract with the First Community Development Corporation of New Jersey to provide janitorial services to be performed by disabled persons employed by a sheltered workshop. A 2-year agreement, January 1st, 2014 to December 31st, 2015, amount not to exceed $42,300. This is bid exempt. It was a vendors and nonprofit status. The amount for 2014 will be $21,000. For 2015, $21,300. We provide you the scope of work that the company will be providing, and it's funded through the Register's trust account.
Okay, questions, comments, Freeholder? Excuse me. No questions, no comments?
Madam President,
Yes, Mr.
I'd just like to remind the administration that during the course of the budget hearings, we requested not only the Register's trust account, but the sheriff's forfeiture account and the prosecutor's forfeiture account. And I don't know if the clerk has seen any of those come to her, but I have yet to see any of those that we did request from those departments. Obviously, nothing to do with this resolution, but when you said a trust account, I recall we did ask for those for a specific reason.
Very good. Mr. Bronowitz, would you make sure that that request coming from Mr. McInerney, we follow up on that, as he stated, we did bring that up in our budget hearings.
I will do so,
Okay.
Madam President.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, additional questions, comments, freeholders? None? Madam Clerk, please list it, and let's move to the next resolution, Mr. Bronowitz, and let's take 5 through 7.
Resolution 5 is Office of the Prosecutors, a contract award to PV Corporation, the sole responsive and responsible bidder to furnish and deliver criminal investigation equipment and supplies via catalog discount. It's a 2-year agreement, amount not to exceed $75,000. We received 1 bid from 10 potential vendors. It's an open-ended contract as needed, and it provides crime scene gear, equipment, and supplies. Resolution 6, Department of Corrections, contract award to SDA Laundry Tech, the sole responsive and responsible bidder to provide repair of laundry equipment for the period March 11, 2014 to March 10, 2016, amount not to exceed $200,000. It's a 2-year contract. We received 1 bid from 9 potential vendors. The last contract year was $120,000. It's believed that because the equipment is getting older, it may require a larger amount this time, and this is a new vendor to the County of Essex. Resolution 7, Department of Health and Rehabilitation, Division of Community Health Services, approval of a grant agreement with the State of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for the SFY 2014 Core Program Grant under the County Environmental Health Act from July 1st, 2013 to June 30th, 2014, $223,715. The budget insertion's already completed on this. A state agreement needs to be approved and executed. This is for the county administrator of the core pollution control programs in the area of air pollution control, solid waste inspections, and hazmat programs.
Very good. Freeholders, Mr. McInerney, do you have any questions on 5 through 7? None? Freeholders, do you have any questions on Resolution 5, 6, 7? Mr. Palavecchio, any questions?
No, I don't.
Okay. Freeholder Clark.
Yeah, on number 6, Mr. Abramowitz, you said that have we ever dealt with them before?
This vendor's a new vendor.
This is a new
It's a new
vendor.
vendor, yes.
What did we spend on this kind of service before?
The last 2-year contracts were $120,000.
2-year contract was $120,000.
Correct.
So why are we spending on like $100,000 more on this 2-year contract?
I'm sorry? This is for 2014 to 2016.
Right. You said the last 2-year contract
The
was
last
for
2-year contract was
$100,000.
$120,000.
Right. So why?
Because the feeling is the equipment is getting older and needs more maintenance.
Did we even, the other company that we had didn't want to bid on it?
This is the only bid we received from 9 potential vendors.
Okay. Well, then if the equipment is that, how much of the 120 did we spend last year? Like in other words, we had it there, but did the equipment really break down? It may have not broken down.
Through Madam President, that I would not know. I could get that information for you.
Okay.
May I ask, do we have the vendor here tonight?
I believe we do not.
We do not.
And just
So maybe that would be good if you bring.
To have the vendor
this is
come,
over
Madam President?
100,000, and normally we bring the vendor in for contracts that we go over 100,000.
And Just out of curiosity,
Continue, Freeholder Clark, I'll come back to you, Freeholder
Yes.
Johnson.
Thank you.
where is this equipment? Is it in one location or several?
This is the correction facility on Dreams Avenue.
Okay. And about how old is the equipment?
It'd be as old as the jail is, which is approximately 7 years old.
Okay. All right. Okey dokey.
Freeholder Johnson, and then Mr. McInerney, did I see your hand? Yes. Okay, as soon as Freeholder Johnson asks his question, I'll come back to you.
Mr. Abramovich, I would like to put in a suggestion because we were paying $120,000 for a 2-year contract last year.
Correct.
Correct?
For a
This
2-year
year
contract.
is $200,000. I would like to make a suggestion. I think with $200,000, we should be able to renew the equipment and not have the problems that we're having.
I think probably better to speak to the vendor to find out what the issues are with the information, with the equipment as is.
Because we're spending $100,000 a year for them to sit back and repair them, and we don't know how many or what kind of repairs is going to be done. I would suggest if the equipment has been there as long as the facility itself, we need to look into renewing it.
I am recommending that the vendor come so he can ask some questions, and he can give you an idea of the type of repairs and how often he's repairing the machine. And I'm sure the administration then will take your suggestion.
Thank you.
Consider your concern.
Thank you, Madam President.
Do we have any additional questions, freeholders? Mr. McInerney?
No, I'm good, thanks.
I didn't see you look up again. Okay, no additional questions, no comments. Madam Clerk, we'll list 5, 6, and 7. Resolution 8 withdrawn by the administration. And we'll go with 9, 10, and 11. Mr. Blumowitz?
Resolution 9, Department of Economic Development, Training and Employment, Division of Training and Employment, contract modification to the 2013 Matrix of Services Provider Agreements for Welfare to Work and Workforce Investment Act services, adding an aggregate amount not to exceed $19,785 to 5 service provider contracts. Increase the service provider contracts by exceeding the established achievement benchmarks and anticipated success rates. The 5 are Essex County College, La Casa de Don Pedro, Metropolitan Resurrection Learning Center, Program for Parents Academy, and Workforce Advantage. And I have Arlene Steinbacher here to explain if needed.
Okay, Ms. Steinbacher, would you come to the microphone, please?
Arlene Steinbacher, Director of the Division of Training and Employment. This is amending those 5 contracts. What we do is that the vendors have exceeded our anticipated success rate. And as we've been doing this for over the last 10 years, we have an estimate. We always figure that they are not going to do 100%, and they normally don't. But if and when they do exceed our success rate, our predicted success rate, we have to come back to the board, amend the contracts, and ensure that they are paid the full amount for their services. In other words, what these vendors have done, they have been able to make placement and retain the employee, that employee for a certain amount of time. The client has stayed at the job for a certain amount of time, 3 months, I believe. So therefore, we're coming back to you saying that we now are prepared to pay them for the full amount. We've been using this formula primarily because we do not have enough money to fund the program the way we would like to fund the program. And in order to ensure that we are not returning all the funds to the state, we hold back a certain amount. And the formula is roughly around 20% of withhold. But if and when they do exceed the amount, the success rate, then we come back to you and we pay them the full amount.
Question, Freeholder Vice President Sebo.
Arlene, are you saying that these 5 have done so well and achieved such limits that they need more money?
Yes.
Is that the basis of the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay, good, thanks.
Additional questions, freeholders? Freeholder
And this 19, Arlene, is It's spread out between the 5.
Between the 5, yes. I believe there is a matrix attached with the decision memorandum that will indicate the amount, the program, where they exceeded the amount, and the amount of money for that particular program.
I have the addition, I'm sorry, Madam President. I have the additional amounts if you require.
Okay, okay. I can pay it later. Okay. All right.
Okay, additional questions? Mr. McInerney, questions? Mr. Public Record,
No,
questions?
no, thank you.
No further questions? Don't go too far, I think. you
Okay.
need- Okay. All right, continue, Mr. Abramowitz.
Resolution 10, Department of Economic Development, Training and Employment, Division of Housing and Community Development. Extension of the Subrecipient Agreements Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, program. 2012 CDBG Subrecipient Agreement extensions will expire on March 1st, 2014. Subrecipients have requested extensions in writing, requesting to extend agreements for 60 days with the attached list of municipalities to allow the project to be completed. Most of the projects are 80% completed. I have John Soares from the department here if you require more information.
Okay, you want to bring him up to the mic, please? Your name for the record and your department again, please.
John Soares, Division of Housing Community Development, Finance Coordinator.
Do you want to just give us a little more information on this particular resolution?
Okay, these are projects that were approved, and we're not adding any more money, we're just giving them extensions. The projects are between 80 and 95% done, but the problem is, because of the weather, they're not able to finalize it. And we're hoping to give them 60 more days so we can get it finalized for them.
Additional questions, freeholders, on Resolution 10, Freeholder Park?
Yeah, yeah, we're on 11? 10.
You're on 10.
We're in 10.
10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I mean, are 10 and 11 connected?
I beg your pardon?
Are 10 and 11 connected?
They're similar.
They're similar.
Just similar?
Yes.
But then, okay. Okay, so we're just basically extending ones that are already, they're already in queue, they're already in progress, they just need a little bit more time to complete.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, Freeholder Vice President Seabold?
Thank you. So each one listed here needs an extension. Do they come back to you and tell you that they need an extension of time so they could complete the work?
Yes, they must supply us with a letter. You know, it's got to be a written letter asking for the extension.
Do they give you a reason why the work hasn't been completed?
The overall reasons has been the weather. Because of the harsh winters, they haven't been able to be out there.
All right, that explains it. Thank you.
Additional questions, freeholders? Under the introduction, you list 5 different areas. When we say homeless needs, would that have anything to do with the suggestion that came before the board early on by some of the residents? Because we have housing, rehab, counseling, public facilities, homeless needs, and then we have public improvements, public services. These are the categories.
Right. Our program has various components. These are all basically public facilities and public improvements.
And under the homeless needs, could you just elaborate on that a little?
There's a component within our division of emergency services grant, but it's not part of the CDBG, that we do provide funds for to shelters. I mean, we do provide funds for shelters for, to provide, counseling services and caseworkers.
Okay.
But these extensions are not for, any of those, that part of the program.
Oh, okay. All right, very good, thank you. Additional questions, comments, freeholders? None? No additional questions, comments, freeholders? Okay, then we'll go to 11, Mr. Barnabas.
Resolution 11, Department of Economic Development, Training and Employment, Division of Housing and Community Development, reinstatement and extension of subgrant agreement with the City of Orange Township Community Development BOP Grant Program. Previously approved subrecipient agreement with City of Orange Township. The library was to install energy-efficient gas boilers in the amount of $35,000. The library was closed for OSHA violations. The violations identified were abated on December 31st, 2013. The library was reopened on January 11, 2014. Now, the City of Orange Township has requested a reinstatement of the agreement to extend the agreement also for 60 days to complete the project. And John can also answer any questions on this one as well.
Okay. Freeholders? Freeholder Vice President Seabold?
The library is open and running now, right? Even
Now
though
it is,
it's
yes.
closed for such a long time. Even though this work has to be complete, it involves an oil tank or something like that?
It had to do with the furnace, yes, and all that work, the majority of the work has been done.
But they can remain open. This will not shut the library down.
Correct.
They can remain open and functioning even though they need an extension.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, additional questions, freeholders? Freeholder Clark?
Okay. Since it expired last year, but the work was completed last year, so the work was completed actually after the expiration date, which is why we're now back asking for the reinstatement.
The majority of the work was completed before the expiration date, but what happened was the library was closed by OSHA. So we could not, because of the regulations, we could not pay for the work because it was not serving the need, because the library was closed. If the library had been open, we would have been okay to pay. But since the library was closed, we were not allowed to pay by regulation. Now that the library is open again.
Yeah, because that was a big, that was a big brouhaha. The main thing is that the $200,000 that went in to brick and mortar at the Orange Library, those things that were paid for out of that were actually done, even though the library itself was not ready to be opened to the public yet. And so, therefore, we're just asking for a reinstatement of those funds. But that work, to your satisfaction and to the satisfaction of the funding agency, had been done and done appropriately in budget and pretty much on time.
Correct.
Okay. And now, basically, the funds are just being released to pay for what was already done.
Yes, if it's approved.
Okay.
Freeholder Owens?
Yes. Is the facility inspected, the library is inspected during the year so that we don't run into problems with OSHA or any other type of
I
scrutiny?
mean, I really can't speak on that, but OSHA was the one that closed them down.
That was the OSHA inspection that closed them down?
Yes, correct. Yes.
I mean, but don't we examine these situations before OSHA comes in? Usually that's how some operations work, where, we keep a watch on things so that we don't get closed down.
Well, through you, Madam President, I mean, anyone can call OSHA in at any time, and public employees is P-OSHA, to do an inspection, even though we, go through it every year. If there's a violation, you as a citizen or a resident of Orange, in this case, could call OSHA and say, I think there's a problem in the library, I need you to come and inspect, and all this come. So there's nothing we can do to prevent that. I mean, it's a citizen's right to report it, and they come as a federal agency.
Okay.
Okay, additional questions, freeholders? No additional questions? Okay, thank you so much. Mr.
Thank you.
Torres. Madam Clerk, we will list 9, 10, and 11. And Mr. Abramovich will continue with 12.
Resolution 12, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, a contract award to Eastern Armored Services, Inc. to provide armored car services, a one-year contract extension option, amount not to exceed $41,886.72. That is a monthly fee of $3,490.56. This services Turtleback Zoo, the mini golf, Cody Arena, and the 3 golf courses. It is a 1% current index rate increase for the period March 15, 2014 to March 14, 2015.
Okay, and let's take 13.
Resolution 13, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, contract award to ARF Rental Services, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, to provide rental of portable sanitation units. 24-month contract, amount not to exceed $837,000. We received 3 bids out of a possible 12 vendors. The other bid was Johnny on the spot. It's an open-end contract as needed, and we provided you with the price range. And this is for Porta Johns for various county events.
Okay, freeholders, questions, comments on 12? Mr. Michael Lanning, Mr. Hollibecker?
No
None? None. No additional questions, freeholders. Let's go to 13 then. Question, Mr.
Madam
Continue,
President?
yes.
On number 13, is this by the unit? So in other words, it's not to exceed $380,837, but it's based on use?
Correct.
Okay.
As needed.
So it could come in as needed, so it could come in less?
Correct.
Additional questions, freeholders? So this is a 2-year contract? This is a 2-year contract.
This is a 24-month contract, yes, Madam President, 2 years.
Okay. And is this the same vendor that we had last year?
No, it is not.
Okay, did we, this vendor is the most responsible and responsible bidder.
That's correct, Madam President.
Okay, additional questions, comments, freeholders, none? Okay, Madam Clerk, we'll list 12 and 13, and we'll go to Mr. Barnabas, we'll go to 14 and 15.
Madam President, Resolution 14, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, a contract with RBA Group for traffic engineering, design, and construction inspection services for county traffic signals and roadways, amount not to exceed $232,800. We received 7 proposals from 78 potential vendors. This particular vendor had the highest score at the lowest cost. It is capital funded. It's a general consulting firm as needed to provide services for various traffic signal improvements and modernization projects. There's a project pending right now, construction inspection services, traffic signal on Park Avenue, 4th Street in Newark. And we do have a representative from RBA here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, could I have him come up, please?
Mr. Shepard.
Good evening.
Good evening. You state your name for the record.
My name is Jeff Shepard with RBA.
Okay, you want to tell us a little about your company?
Sure. We're a diverse group of engineers, architects, and planners. We've been doing work for Essex County DPW for many years. I've been at RBA for over 16 years. I've been doing work consistently with them over that period of time. I personally like doing projects for Essex County. I grew up in South Orange, so I like coming back to the village and improving, making some improvements.
Okay, freeholders, questions, comments? Freeholder, Freeholder Luciana?
Through you, Madam President, I'm just going to ask, excuse me a second, through the administrator, this contract, does this company actually go out when you say inspect to see if traffic signal timing is at its best? And the reason I say this is because I've been fielding some emails lately of some particular cases where residents seem to be truly concerned about, some of the timing of certain signals. So I was just wondering if this is the gentleman whose company goes out there, or if this is something we do in-house.
This particular contract does include some signal timing optimizations. They were listed, the types of which intersections are involved for this particular contract. So there is some of that included, as well as new signal design, all of which have been previously listed by the county engineering.
Okay. So most of this contract then is already spelled out as to what? Okay.
Correct. Yep.
It's not like an open contract where they could
Exactly.
call you in and say, well, we need you in Roseland this week because there's an issue.
Right. It's
Okay.
it's already listed.
So then, again, through you, Madam President, then my follow-up question to that then is, if freeholders are fielding some questions from the general public concerning certain issues like that, how do we address that? Or who do we address that to, and who takes care of that and who handles it?
The Department of Engineering, I would call the director. You want to report a complaint from a stockholder about the lights?
Right.
I'm sorry, from the residents about the lights?
Right.
Then I would think you could either call the administration and let Ralph know, and then he would then in turn contact the individual from engineering.
Through you, Madam President, that's exactly correct. I myself have had this question brought to me many times and experienced myself, and I usually go directly to Sanjeev Vargas, our Director of Public Works, and they address the issue if it's a county road. If it's a non-county road, they have contacts with the City of Newark or whatever, and usually call them, because I've noticed some problems with timing myself over the years and have reported it, and they have been addressed.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
And I can seriously say that when you contact the administration, they will follow up and they'll get back to you with an answer. Freeholder Vice
In
President.
regards to what we're discussing, I want to bring up a very difficult situation. I brought it up when we had the budget hearings, and Sanjay said he would take care of it with Newark, and apparently he did, but nothing's been done about West Market Street, and it's really very, very bad.
I drive it every day myself.
So you know.
Yes, and First Street's not much better.
No, and that's all Newark.
Yeah.
Can we get something done?
Freeholder, I will try again to...
Thank you. It needs it very badly.
Okay, additional questions, freeholders? Freeholder Clark?
Did I hear you say, sir, that you have done work in Essex County before?
Yes.
A lot of work in Essex
Yes,
County?
consistent work, yes.
Okay. And it's pretty much, from what I can see here, it's going to be on an as-needed basis, the contract.
Actually, the contract has, the design for 8 new traffic signals or modernization of traffic signals, 4 in Newark and 4 in Irvington, as well as construction inspection for a project at Park Avenue and 4th Street. Northfield Avenue, we're going to modernize the synchronization of traffic signals. So it's not as needed. These are the listed items that we are going to address.
Okay, because I'm just going by what I'm reading from the February and it said that the work is going to be performed, you know, as they issue you a task order. But you're saying that you already know what the tasks are that you're going to be issued these work orders
Correct,
for.
yes.
And you already know, so the county already knows exactly how much that's going to cost.
Exactly. That's what we bid on.
How many people work for your company?
Overall, I'd say maybe 125.
Do you have any African Americans working for your company?
Yes.
Or women or
Yes.
Latinos?
Oh, yes.
We have any working on this project?
We will have a female
Mhm.
and a Filipino.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Okay, but you do have people
Absolutely.
working for your company?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, Freeholders, do you have additional questions, comments? None? Okay, thank you so much for the
Thank you for your time.
information. You want to continue, Mr. Abramovich, and let's take 15?
Resolution 15, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Purchasing, contract award to TMB ATM Group, the sole responsible and responsive bidder to provide ATM Mac machines for Essex County, March 27, 2014 to March 26, 2016. The revenue to the county will be $10,808. This is the one bid we received from 11 potential vendors. This is for ATM machines at the Hall of Records, the Veterans Courthouse, the Correctional Facility, and the Hospital Center. We had a contract with PNC, and the revenue we received from them was $11,489.35, but they did not bid.
Okay, Freeholder, question, comments? And Freeholder Clark?
Alan, is anybody here from the company?
I'm sorry, Freeholder? I
Is
didn't hear you.
anyone here from the company?
I don't believe so. I'm flying solo this evening.
Just out of curiosity, perhaps you know, because you may have been intimately involved with this particular, since the county's going to, this will be a revenue generator, what kind of, let me just get right to my point. Are the fees that are going to be charged at this particular kiosk going to be predatory?
I have no idea what the amount, I can find out the amount of the fee. I understand what you're saying.
That would,
Because PNC
my vote will be contingent upon that. Okay?
I understand.
That's
Yeah,
important to me.
Because PNC, which had our payroll, did not charge a fee if you had a PNC account, obviously. I don't know what they're charging right here. I will find that out for you.
Please, thank you.
Okay. Additional questions, comments? And Mr. Abramovich, did you get that information to the board by the next meeting?
Yes, Madam President.
Okay. Additional questions, comments, Freeholders? None? Okay, Madam Clerk, your list 14 and 15. Mr. McInerney, you didn't have any?
I have no,
What about you?
No, no
Right.
questions. Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's continue. We'll move to resolutions 16 through 35 and 37 and 39 through 39.
Madam President,
Yes, Freeholder Johnson.
I'd like to be, their permission added on to 16 through 20 and 26 through 29.
16 through 20
Yes. And 26 through 29.
and 26 through 29.
I see no problem with that.
You have no problem. Very good. Okay, do we have any other comments from freeholders on commendations, resolutions? Okay, Madam Clerk, your list, resolutions, any questions, comments, or any additions to the resolution? None? We'll,
Madam
list
President,
16, yes?
may I be added with your resolution? Number 37?
Okay, for the record, number 37. You haven't got it. We didn't get, okay, I didn't get that, but I'll remember that, and we'll add you. Yes, I did. We got that.
Oh, we did?
I did, yeah, I included that. I
Okay.
said 37 through 39.
Yep.
Yes, I did.
Yep. Sorry, Madam President.
Okay,
So that's
that'll be Johnson and
Vice President Sebo.
Vice President Seaborn, yes.
You have that? Okay.
Okay, do we have any other freeholders that would like to be added to any of the commendation resolutions? If none, then Madam Clerk, you will list resolutions 16 through 35 and 37 through 39.
Madam President?
Yes.
Just,
Mr. Polyvecchio?
I took a look, just going back, referring back to one of Freeholder Clark's questions on number 15, Resolution 15.
Okay.
Freeholder Clark, I took a look inside the bid specs on that, the ATM resolution. On the specs, it said the vendor may charge a reasonable fee to customers for using the machine, but such fee is not to exceed $2 per transaction. No fee increases or changes shall be acceptable throughout the contract period. So that's built into the specs. You may still want to, that's the county specs, just to make sure that the vendor will comply with that. $2 fee is the cap.
Okay.
At least per our specs.
All righty. We'll continue freeholders, and Mr. Polyvecchio, you want to let's take Resolution 36. That's with the clerk of the board again. the appointment.
Madam President?
Yes. Freeholder Clark.
I'd like to be added actually to Resolution 29, 28.
You want to be added to 28?
Yes, 28.
I didn't hear that, Freeholder Clark.
I asked to be added to number 28.
Okay. And that was the only one?
Yes.
Okay. All righty, let's move then to Resolution 36.
And
Michael?
Sure, I can handle that. Resolution 36 is a resolution appointing or reappointing Deborah Davis Ford to serve as clerk of the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders. This appointment would be for a term of 3 years pursuant to state statute and as well as our code of the County of Essex. I don't think I need to say much about Deborah. She has been serving in the role of clerk since 2009, and this would simply be exactly what it says it is, a reappointment for that period of time.
And since we have our county court in order, now we're doing things the way it should be done.
So I say it again?
I said the county code, when we voted on it and it's up to date now, we're doing things accordingly to the code. Okay.
And Deborah Davis Ford does such a wonderful job.
Yes.
And I hope she's willing to continue, because I don't know what we would do now without her.
That's right.
Yes.
Has anybody ever turned down a nomination?
No, I don't think they have.
So it doesn't have to be moved and seconded?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I need a mover and a second.
I'll move it.
Oh, you have a second from the Very good.
We have an official second, though.
That's right.
We just need official second.
Okay, so I'll take Freeholder Vice. Let me take Freeholder Clark. You want to move it, and Freeholder Vice President, will you second? Thank you.
I'd like to also second the motion.
You want a second? Okay. A second.
I can second the second.
He can second it with me.
Ooh, now you want a third second. Very good. So I think we have all of our motions and seconds in place. We will vote on this resolution on next week. Am I correct,
Yes,
Michael?
right. Yes, that is correct.
Mr. Polyvecchio? Thank you. Okay, Freeholder Clark?
I'm sorry, I would like to be added to number 38 if it's okay with Freeholder Johnson and Gill.
Yes.
And
You don't get a McDonald's All-American that often in this area.
No.
That's a pretty big deal.
And then women's basketball too, you got that right.
I mean, that's a really big deal.
I agree.
Usually Shabazz rooms.
Is she going to Rutgers, Freeholder? Is she headed to Rutgers?
No, she's going to Louisville.
Oh,
Oh, boy. We're losing them left and right.
Bianca Brown is the Clark's sister's.
She's my niece.
She's her niece,
Yeah, the coach.
the coach.
Say it again now?
And I would.
The coach
I would
of
like
this
to be
person
married
for 4 years
for 4 years.
is my niece, Bianca Brown. Valerie's daughter.
You know Earl Brown.
And I would like to be added to that also.
Okay,
I
great.
that was sleeping now. Okay, before we move on, let me again just add to, I want to be the last to give my comments on the clerk, this appointment, reappointment, and certainly if anyone can say that I'm involved with the clerk on a daily basis, and I can say that the office is run professional, and things are moved in a professional manner, and never do I receive any complaints from the public about how the office is run, and Deborah, you deserve to be reappointed.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's move on to Addis Starter's resolution. Let's list that, Madam Clerk, and let's move to Addis Starter resolutions. Madam Clerk, are there any Addis Starter resolutions or ordinances?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay. If there is any member of the public who would like to come before the freeholders again, even if you came earlier, want to come back again, this is your time. Sir, would you please place your name on the record?
Sterling Crawford. Sterling Crawford.
Oh, and might I just add, you have 3 minutes to speak, okay?
Good evening. My name is Sterling Crawford. Until February 15th, I was one of your constituents with no address. I'm here to speak on behalf of a group of kind-hearted, compassionate Norkers who volunteered to operate the Grassroots Emergency Overnight Warming Station. I'm here because they literally changed my life. The Grassroots team was founded on January 7th, 2014. It was founded when they discovered that the city of Newark and the county of Essex had made no accommodations for those of us who were living on the streets. Even when the governor declared a state of emergency and press releases warned residents that the temperatures posed a real and imminent threat to life and limb, no one considered the homeless. The 2 so-called warming stations that the city opened were only open during the day when the sun provided at least a little heat, but they were nothing more than tents that did nothing to protect us from elements. By January 15th, the GO's team had found churches and organizations willing to open their doors and open the first emergency overnight warming station. They literally picked us up from Penn Station and other locations where we gathered and brought us to the station. They provided hot, nutritious meals and, more importantly, a safe, warm place to lay our heads. They opened the doors of some facility every night since that the weather has been dangerously cold. They did all this with no funding. As they got to know us, they realized that many of us wanted to do better, but simply needed a hand up. In my case, I had been accepted for a job with Labor Ready, but I did not have a state-issued ID or money to purchase the steel-toed boots and attire that was required. The GO's team managed to get me an ID, boots and clothing, and I immediately went to work. As a result, I am no longer on the streets. Thanks to the GOs, I was able to rent a room until I can do better. Now I go back to volunteer at the warming stations to give back, pay it forward, and help those who are still in need. Finally, I hope that my story will encourage you to support this team of compassionate people who give freely of their time, their skills, and even their own money to help your constituents, who they like to call the neighbors with no address. The way I see it, they are doing your job, and the very least you can do is acknowledge and support them. The Grassroots Emergency Overnight Warming Station is a political, informal group of volunteer residents who care about our neighbors with no addresses. This unofficial organization with nearly 700 volunteers and supporters was organically grown after the question was posed on January 7, 2014. Where do the homeless go in case of a state emergency or extreme life and limb-threatening weather condition overnight? As soon as we learned that there were absolutely no provisions of the City of Newark, the County of Essex, nor the State of New Jersey, we sprung into action and opened our first of many overnight.
I normally cut you off if I would say that you have 30 seconds.
Okay.
But you telling a life story is totally a little different, and I hope my colleagues will bear with me for us to continue to hear your story.
No problem.
Continue.
Through your chair, Madam President, will you grant a meeting with the grassroots team and all your county stakeholders to address this matter? I'm done.
Thank you. What we will do, we will respond. Do you have an address at this time?
At this present time?
So we can respond to you in writing?
Yes.
Okay.
Gary,
Gary,
sitting in the
we're going to
back.
have someone to take as much information from you so that we can, we will respond to you in writing, and then we'll let you know exactly how the board will handle your request.
Okay, no problem.
Okay? Thank you so much, and to hear that sometimes everybody out there that's homeless is not homeless because it's at their will. It's because they did not have the opportunity to get that hands up that you mentioned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me share.
Do we have anyone else who would like to speak at this time?
Good evening. My name is Donald Jackson, 79 Treacy, Treacy Avenue in Newark, New Jersey, zip code 07108. Right now, currently, candidate for Newark Public Schools Board of Education, and I come here tonight off the heels of coming from our State Board of Education meeting down in Trenton, New Jersey, where I, along with teachers, former teachers, parents, and community stakeholders throughout the entire state of New Jersey, came out and spoke against not only the Common Core, but the over-testing of our children and the privatization of our schools. And I have a few things to talk about tonight, but I'm going to keep it very brief and keep that short.
I forgot to warn you, you have 3 minutes.
Right, definitely understand. I don't know if you all are aware. Unfortunately, I'm not going to attest to your understanding or even commitment here. But what I will say is it's past time for talking. The residents of Newark, particularly the residents here in the county, are tired of empty campaign slogans and promises and no-shows. Particularly with the Newark Public Schools, which is now going to be the testing site for the entire state for what works and doesn't work as far as classroom procedures and curriculum guidelines. It is time for us to be aware of the problems. As you all know, that here in Newark, that we have our One Newark enrollment that's trying to close Newark Public Schools to co-locate, relocate with charter schools and renewed schools. And this process was not even thought of with the input of students, teachers, and community stakeholders. Someone just randomly came out the blue and came up with a solution to save our schools. Our dear superintendent has now sent a letter saying that she won't come to any more board meetings or work with community people or students or parents because our monthly school board meetings are a little rambunctious for her. I mention this to you all tonight because we need all hands on deck, as Ms. Dock would say. It's time for all of us to come out and get involved because the last right that we have as American citizens have to a free and public education is under attack here in the state of New Jersey and, quite frankly, the United States of America. So my name's Donald Jackson again. My address is 79 Tracy Avenue, Treacy, Newark, New Jersey. Any questions, comments, concerns? I don't know if you all are on the community text list from Ms. Doc, because she will definitely update you on upcoming meetings and events. But it is time for us to really get involved because we are at a state of emergency. And to leave that note and to go on to the crime piece, I came.
30 seconds, you're going to have to.
Yep, understood. I'm going to wrap up.
30 seconds.
Going to wrap up really quickly. Not too long ago, I came before this board and I mentioned some issues that I was having, not understanding what I was sent when I brought to this board about the recent carjackings and the homicides. I was sent a letter stating that the Sheriff's Department sent letters out to automakers about creating new technologies to not steal cars. I don't know if my point was, I think what I said wasn't understood by this body.
All right.
When I mentioned the crime rate,
Excuse me,
yep.
your time is up. You have 30 seconds. I gave you a few minutes extra.
A few seconds extra, but yes. Okay, thank you.
Yes, but thank you so much. And we hear you. We hear you, and we will respond to you. Okay? Thank you. Do we have anyone else from the public who would like to speak?
Good evening again. Donald Jackson, 128 Smith Street, Newark, New Jersey. A couple of questions on a couple of the resolutions. I am totally in awe of this $380,000 for some porta potties. I do not understand. I think if we go ahead and complete the renovations inside the park, which is where most of the county affairs are held, we won't have to rent porta potties. They are inoperable still at Branch Brook. There are no bathrooms on the west side. Is that Doug, Elizabeth Avenue? The one on Elizabeth? Right, but there's not one there at the functioning. The porta potty is not a bathroom for me. At the playground area there on the Elizabeth Avenue side. It's open now? Oh, I apologize. It's open now, but it needs to be checked more regularly. I think if we just bring these things up to point, we can eliminate. That's $400,000, $200,000 a year to rent some porta potties is a lot of money. I would get it on that contract, and I may do that in 2015 when this one expires. Secondly, I understand Ms. Steinbeck's request for the additional $19,000. That's not a lot of money, and us talking about service providers exceeding their expectations. But I stand here today as a county resident, and I question that. I don't see a lot of people leaving 50 South Clinton Street going to work. I just don't see it. I really would ask and beg that our monitoring be done a lot better than it's being done. Also, the equipment replacement, Mr. Freeholder Johnson touched on it. I just need to ask this question, as I do anytime we're repairing something that's under 15 years old. If I buy a washer and dryer in my house, and I have to replace it in less than 15 years with a major investment like that, I got a problem. So you're going to tell me that we have a 7-year-old washing facility inside our county jail, and we are spending over $100,000 in repairs? Something's wrong. Something wrong. You don't buy a washer and you have the repairman come out every month. You don't buy a dryer and have the repairman, nothing new. If it's 7 years, that's new, up to date. Drying time is a little less. I don't know what they wash in blankets or whatever. I see my 30 seconds. But this is ridiculous to now up this to $200,000. So when we talk about fiscal transparency and responsibility, we need to stop. We're not buying nothing new. That is new. Anything less than 10 years old is new. Now, if we need to buy it, where's the warranty with the things that we buy? You're going to tell me we bought a washer, dryer, probably 4 of them, probably that mega size like they got at the, I'm wrapping up, the mega size like they have at the $199 cleaners, and you're going to tell me we're fixing these things every month? Then the people that's operating them, we need to get those who know how to work it. Are they breaking because of, that kind of thing? This is a ridiculous amount of money, I'm closing, to spend on repairing of laundry equipment. I wouldn't spend this at my house, and I have a washer and dryer, and I have a warranty, and when they come out, I don't pay anything, because I paid the $100 for the service for 3 years. Why are we not doing that? This is a waste of money. And if we do need to buy new, I'm sure we could do it for less than $200,000. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair, freeholders, Douglas Freeman, Weequahic Park Sports Authority, and Southport 44th District Leader, 525 Clinton Place, Newark, New Jersey. Come before you to speak about the homeless. I also was in support of the group that came before you today, and I was there when they had their first day with the citizens of Essex County. I questioned a few of the citizens, and I found out that some of them was homeless due to not being able to pay the rent. And then there was some that was veterans, and they didn't know that they was eligible for the services being veterans because they felt that they didn't have addresses. And through our organization, we did clothing drives and provided food inside the park. And then we recognized that the park was a resource that we have that's in the community, and the people know about the park, and some of the homeless that was around the area actually sometimes sleep in the park. So we was able to have conversation with them and direct them to the grassroots campaign and organization. And this is something that is dear to us, and we believe that, you know, with the workforce initiatives that we have, and through your offices, through you, Madam Chair, can we get some type of mobile individuals that can survey these individuals in Penn Station and locations so they can know what type of services that we offer? If they don't have access to a computer or phone and they isolated from the community, they don't know what's available. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Do we have anyone else from the public who would like to speak at this time?
Come in.
Okay, take your time.
Ed Wadu, citizen, 340 Thomas Boulevard. Although I'm not there, if you send me a letter, Madam Chairman, I won't get it. I haven't been home in 3 months. I'm staying with my daughter so I can recoup. But what I want to say, that Mr. Chinella is out ill, and we have a meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock. The Weequahic Park Conservancy is meeting with our regular meeting with the county. And 2 of our guests, it should be, I hope it's in, is Dan Savanti and Sheriff Furtado, Armando, so that we'll know what's going for the coming year. You got a centennial that's coming up in Weequahic Park of 100 years. The golf course is there and things that's going on. We need to have you there. And we appreciate it if you do, and we want to thank those who have come. But Mr. Chinella is out ill, and we're hoping that Mr. Savanti and the sheriff have their invitation to be there. We thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Abranowitz, I'm sure that someone will be there to represent Mr. Chia.
Yes, Madam President, I'm sure there'll be someone there.
Yes, very good.
If not Ralph, I'm not sure of his condition, but.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Continue.
Cassandra Dock, P.O. Box 25331, Newark. I wish some of the volunteers from the warming station had stayed here because it just came to my attention moments after they left. But since Doug is here, Doug can transfer the information to them, and I'll also transfer it to him, too. It's good that they're doing that. That's a great thing for the warming station. Of course, I have concerns because it's at one of our mayoral candidates' headquarters, Shavar Jeffries. The only thing I'm not understanding is Shavar Jeffries is his headquarters. He's the lead person on this ticket. Aníbal Ramos is also a part of this ticket, who at one time was over all our services here, and who may probably soon to come back and be over those services again. So I'm just not understanding, like, when that meeting take place, make sure it takes place with him there, because they can ask him directly about the services that they need for the people with no address. He can take care of all that. So again, you know, I'll tell Debbie that. I wasn't thinking about it when she was here, but I'll tell Ms. Dean that. I'll tell Jonathan that. And Doug's here, so I don't have to tell him. But this was what I need to be said to them. Thanks.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else from the public who would like to speak or make a comment? Okay, for those of you who are not familiar with the process, as I stated earlier, all of your concerns, your questions will be answered, and you will receive a response from this board within the week. Okay? And again, thank you for your comments and your concerns. Okay, let's move with the, Madam Clerk, let's move to other business and freeholders. Do we have any additional business? Any business, freeholder clerk?
Yes, I actually wanted to bring you up to speed on something, Madam President. Prior to getting here tonight, I actually went to the Essex County Educators Legislative Dinner. And one of the things that was being discussed there was what was happening in Newark and in Montclair. And we had legislators there from the Essex County area. Our State Senator Rice, Assemblywoman Jaycee, Assemblywoman Oliver, Assemblyman Caputo, and Senator Gill, and all spoke about what was happening with the evaluations that were kind of being put upon districts, and also this, what seems to be a move afoot to actually destabilize public schools in favor of charter schools. And so it is indeed something that is happening, and it's something that is on people's radar screen. I don't know how we might give voice to that, but I do know that we have a current sitting public school teacher who is amongst our colleagues. And I know as a former public school teacher, and I won't be so presumptuous as to speak for Madam Vice President, but also a former public school teacher, the last thing we want to see is our public schools destabilized. We're doing, I think, a pretty good job with our vocational schools here in Essex County, and they are public schools. They're not private or charter. So we don't want to see anything happen that is going to hurt or destabilize public schools. To have superintendents just basically write the public off is not a good thing either. And one of the questions that occurred at tonight's meeting was about what the state legislators were going to do to fight to restore local control back to various entities. But one of the things that I think that we should be aware of is that New Jersey doesn't exist in a vacuum and a void. I was just in Washington at NACO. Thank you, Madam President, and Madam Clerk, for making sure, and I want to thank Mr. Abramowitz and Mr. Chalala in his absence, and the county executive for ensuring that Essex County remains viable in the community of counties, which is NACO. There, the conversations about things happening in New Jersey, as you might imagine, were proliferating. And of course, education was one of them, and obviously a whole bunch of other things that I'm not going to discuss. But I am going to say that we don't exist in a vacuum or a void. And so what happens educationally here, people look at. I might add that apparently New Jersey is on everybody's radar screen and is a topic of discussion for every state. I will say that I had the opportunity to, introduce myself to the Secretary of HUD and ask him, please don't cut our CDBG funding because we need it, and a few other things, which is what I believe you send me to do. So I did what I was supposed to do, and I'll also report back out to NJAC when I go back, when I go to our meeting on Friday. But just understand that we don't exist in a vacuum or a void. And Essex County, being the second or the third largest county in the state of New Jersey, definitely is on people's radar screen. They want to know what we're doing and how we function. What's on the minds of our county commissioners? We're not county commissioners, we're freeholders, but what's on our minds? What are the things that we hold, most dear? What are the things that we're advocating for? So I would say we need to advocate for, by letter, to the State Board of Education that, we really want to support our local districts, Newark and Montclair. Montclair's been doing swell for a long time. Why try to tear that up? Not understanding it. The next thing you know, they'll be coming into South Orange Maplewood saying they want to make some changes there. Why? Why? Well, as Assemblywoman Jaycee said, the why is because there's a lot of money in education. That's why. Yes. But, we really do have to be vigilant about what happens with our children. And one of the things that former Speaker and our current Assemblywoman Oliver said is that we need to encourage urban and suburban parents and teachers to link arms and make sure that we're speaking with one voice to protect public education and to protect our teachers. So that's all I have to say about that. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I just hope that we are willing to give voice via letter to some of the things that we see happening to school districts that reside in Essex County. And what we think should happen, because we're not bumps on a log, so we know what's going on. So thank you very much. That was what I wanted to report out on for you. I'm not sure if there was one other thing that I wanted to mention. I can't remember it right now, so I'm going to be quiet. But those two things were two things that I really wanted us to know happened. One, that I asked to make sure, and I understand that we're not going to get, the CDBG is not going to experience cuts. They're celebrating 40 years, and so I would say to Essex County, I brought back posters for you, Madam President, I would say that we need to do something to acknowledge 40 years of CDBG and the kinds of work that CDBG funding actually does. The good things. That's a really good way to highlight good things that we're doing. Oh, the other one, and the last point, is that what they call the homeless prevention thing in Washington, what other states and other counties call it is they call it Code Purple. I noticed that the folks who were here tonight, they called it Code Blue. Apparently, the buzz or the acronym for it around the United States is called Code Purple shelters. And that, too, ironically enough, was a topic of discussion. And the Secretary of HUD said that if you definitely want to get funding for a program into your county, then set up a program to address homelessness for veterans. And the federal government is going to be more than willing to assist you with funding in that endeavor, a Code Purple, if you will. So I think that it was just ironic the things that were said tonight and then the things that I had just heard and discussions that I was just involved in either tonight or this past weekend. So I do believe that there's more work for us to do on that, and I would like to see us engage or set up a Code Purple kind of a thing. Thank you, Madam President.
Very good.
Madam President.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes, Madam President, I definitely agree with my colleague in reference to that. And one of the young ladies that's been doing this for a while is Deborah Dean Hall. And I am willing, if any of the other freeholder members are willing to set up and have a meeting with them so that we can get a full understanding of the length of this, because I did receive the information from the Union County's Code Blue Homeless Emergency Shelter Initiative. And she's listed in here with them, and she's from right here in the city of Newark. So I think that it would be appropriate if we even set up a meeting with her to sit down and discuss this Code Blue or Purple. We might want to call it red or black or whatever, but I am willing to join you in that for the Code Blue or the Code Purple, whichever way we're going to go with it.
Okay, very good. Freeholder Owens?
And I would like to join my other two colleagues in the situation that we often see in the city of Newark, people homeless and cold and unbearable situations, and if this Code Blue or whatever it may be called is going to be beneficial to these people, I support it.
Very good. Madam Clerk, what we will do, we'll look to, I think what we need to do before we meet with other individuals, we should meet the group, the committee that I will appoint should meet first to see what it is you would be requesting from the administration before we have the meeting with the group. We have an idea what they're looking for.
Yes.
So we need to meet to see what is our agenda, because it's a large agenda. Homelessness is not new. I think the issue that we're facing is that it's increasing. And it's not just New Jersey, it's just not Newark. You can go in any part of the country, and that's what you will see. You will see homelessness on the street. So I have Owens, Johnson, and Clark, and you can add it.
Okay.
Okay, and we just have a meeting first.
Yes.
Okay, is additional, you have other business freeholders that you would like to express at this
I just
time?
have a comment, but I can hold it. Is this the time for
Yes,
comments?
this is the
Okay. Just an additional comment, because it's untraditional of us to have a freeholder celebration on a night that's not a freeholder meeting, but this month, actually tomorrow, Freeholder Gill and I, with the help of our clerk and our staff, will be hosting Irish American Heritage Celebration here at the Hall of Records. And I just wanted to put the invitation out there on record to the rest of my colleagues and to everyone else who's here in attendance in the public and our freeholder staff to join us in such a celebration.
Very good. Thank you.
Madam
And
President,
I'm
one
sure the
last thing.
rest of the freeholders will be here. Freeholder Johnson.
And I want everyone in the viewing audience and everyone here to know that our very own Frank McInerney will be the Irish of the Year next week here. And we will be here to help represent you also. Thursday, right? Yes.
Okay. All right. Other comments, freeholders? Other business? I would just like to, before I ask for an adjournment, to respond to the freeholder comment session. Freeholder Clark requested from the administration a copy of the modernization plan of the welfare office. She is also requesting to schedule a workforce meeting. We are waiting a response, freeholder clerk, from the administration in reference to the modernization plan. And as soon as we get that, we'll make sure you and the other freeholders receive it. And also the clerk is working on securing a date for your workforce meeting for the year 2014. Public comment session, Mr. Wadu asked when the senior nutrition program will be implemented in Building 92 in Weekway Park. The memo was sent out on today, 3/5. The meeting is scheduled for tomorrow, and they plan, Mr. Wadu, to make that a part of the subject, topic of discussion at the meeting tomorrow in reference to the senior nutrition program. Okay? Is that okay?
It's fine.
Okay. All righty. Okay, then, no other business. Freeholders, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So